Every conversation has that moment when you can physically feel the energy shift. For most people, it happens gradually, almost unnoticeably. But for Aries, that moment hits like lightning the second someone starts speaking in circles, making excuses, or feeding them carefully crafted half-truths. Their entire body language changes, their eyes narrow slightly, and you can almost see their internal detector going off like a fire alarm. This isn't rudeness or impatience talking. This is something much deeper, something written into the very fabric of who Aries people are at their core. While other zodiac signs might smile politely and nod along to meaningless chatter, Aries experiences something closer to physical allergic reaction when forced to endure conversations that lack substance, honesty, or genuine purpose. The fascinating thing about this Aries trait is that most people completely misunderstand it. They see an Aries person cutting a conversation short or asking direct questions and immediately label them as aggressive or insensitive. But what's really happening is that Aries operates on a completely different frequency than most other people. They're tuned into authenticity in a way that makes fake interactions almost painful to endure. Think about how exhausting it feels when someone tells you a story that keeps changing, or when someone promises to do something and you instinctively know they won't follow through. Most people learn to accept this as part of social interaction and develop coping mechanisms to deal with the frustration. But Aries never develops that tolerance. They remain perpetually sensitive to dishonesty, manipulation, and time-wasting behavior because their Mars energy keeps them constantly alert to anything that feels inauthentic or purposeless. This creates what many people see as the Aries paradox. On one hand, they're incredibly loyal, generous, and supportive friends who will go to incredible lengths to help the people they care about. On the other hand, they have zero patience for social games, emotional manipulation, or people who can't communicate directly. What seems contradictory actually makes perfect sense when you understand that Aries people are protecting something precious through their directness. The cosmic truth is that Aries behavior isn't about being difficult or demanding. It's about maintaining energetic integrity in a world that often rewards fake politeness over genuine connection. They instinctively understand that time and energy are finite resources, and they refuse to waste either on interactions that don't serve a real purpose or contribute something meaningful to their lives or the lives of others. This is why understanding the Aries mindset is so important. Whether you're an Aries yourself trying to navigate a world that doesn't always appreciate your directness, or whether you're someone who lives or works with Aries people and wants to build stronger, more authentic relationships with them. When you grasp the deeper reasons behind their behavior, everything starts to make sense. Before we dive into the specific reasons why Aries people have such an intense reaction to nonsense, make sure to subscribe to Secret of the Zodiac and hit that like button if you're ready to understand the real psychological and cosmic forces that drive this fascinating fire sign. What we're about to explore goes far beyond surface-level personality traits and gets into the fundamental ways that Mars energy shapes how Aries people experience and interact with the world around them. The first reason, their Mars energy demands honesty. When Mars governs your personality, deception becomes physically uncomfortable. This isn't metaphorical or symbolic. It's a literal energetic response that Aries people experience in their bodies when someone lies to them or speaks inauthentically. Mars, the ancient god of war, represents raw truth and direct action, which means Aries individuals are cosmically wired to detect and reject anything that feels manipulative or dishonest. The fascinating aspect of this Mars influence is how it manifests in everyday interactions. While other people might give someone the benefit of the doubt or rationalize away their suspicions, Aries feels an immediate physical tension when something doesn't align with truth. Their stomach might tighten, their energy might shift, or they might experience a sudden urge to challenge what they're hearing. This isn't paranoia or overthinking, it's their ruling planet working through them as a cosmic lie detector. What makes this particularly powerful is that Mars energy doesn't just detect obvious lies, it picks up on subtle forms of dishonesty that other people might miss entirely. When someone is being fake positive to hide their real feelings, when someone is agreeing just to avoid conflict, or when someone is telling partial truths to manipulate a situation, Aries feels it immediately. Their Mars-ruled intuition cuts through social pleasantries and polite facades to identify the real energy behind someone's words. This creates a unique challenge for Aries in social situations because they're constantly receiving information that others aren't even aware of. While everyone else in the room might be accepting someone's story at face value, Aries is internally processing inconsistencies, detecting emotional manipulation, and feeling increasingly frustrated by what they perceive as group delusion. They often find themselves in the uncomfortable position of being the only person who can see that someone is being dishonest. The Mars influence also means that Aries people experience authenticity as a form of energetic nourishment. When someone speaks to them with genuine honesty, even if the truth is difficult or uncomfortable, they feel energized and respected. Conversely, when someone feeds them lies or half-truths, it actually drains their energy and makes them feel disconnected from their natural vitality. This is why Aries people often seem to light up around certain individuals and shut down around others. They're responding to the quality of authenticity in each interaction. The second reason, time is sacred to them. Aries people operate with an internal clock that's fundamentally different from other zodiac signs. While many people view time as an endless resource or something to fill with whatever activity presents itself, Aries experiences time as precious cosmic currency that should never be wasted on meaningless pursuits. This perspective creates an almost reverent relationship with productivity and purposeful action. The cardinal fire energy that defines Aries makes them natural initiators who are constantly aware of forward momentum. They instinctively understand that every moment spent in circular conversations or listening to someone ramble without purpose is a moment that could have been used to create something meaningful, solve a real problem, or move closer to an important goal. This isn't about being impatient for the sake of rudeness. It's about honoring the limited nature of human existence. When someone forces an Aries to sit through extended small talk, repetitive explanations, or conversations that seem to serve no clear purpose, they experience something similar to claustrophobia. Their energy starts to feel trapped and stagnant, which goes against everything in their nature. Mars energy needs movement, progress, and achievement. So being stuck in conversational quicksand triggers a genuine stress response in their system. This relationship with time also explains why Aries people are often early to appointments, quick to make decisions, and frustrated by people who can't commit to plans or stick to schedules. They view punctuality and efficiency as forms of respect, both for themselves and for others. When someone shows up late without a good reason, or keeps changing their mind about simple decisions, Aries interprets this as disrespectful treatment of everyone's valuable time. The sacred nature of time for Aries extends beyond personal efficiency into their larger life philosophy. They understand that human life is relatively short and that opportunities for real impact are limited. This awareness drives them to cut through unnecessary complexity and focus on what actually matters. While others might spend hours debating minor details or getting caught up in social drama, Aries is already 3 steps ahead, working on solutions and moving toward meaningful outcomes. The third reason, they value authentic action over empty promises. The gap between words and actions represents one of the most frustrating experiences an Aries can encounter. When someone makes promises they don't intend to keep, talks about plans they'll never execute, or claims to possess qualities they don't actually demonstrate, Aries feels it as a form of betrayal that goes beyond simple disappointment. This sensitivity to the action versus words dynamic stems from the Aries' relationship with personal integrity. They naturally align their words with their actions because anything else feels internally inconsistent and energetically draining. When they say they're going to do something, they've already committed their energy to making it happen. When they express an opinion or share a feeling, it's coming from a place of genuine authenticity rather than social performance. The challenge arises when they encounter people who operate differently, individuals who make casual promises without considering whether they can actually fulfill them, who exaggerate their capabilities to impress others, or who say whatever they think someone wants to hear without any intention of backing up their words with corresponding actions. Aries people can usually tell within the first few interactions whether someone is genuinely reliable or just talking a good game. What's particularly frustrating for Aries is when they adjust their own plans and expectations based on someone else's promises, only to discover later that those promises were never seriously made. They might reorganize their schedule to accommodate someone who said they'd show up, invest emotional energy in someone who claimed to share their values, or count on support that was offered but never delivered. These experiences feel like violations of basic trust and respect. The Aries' preference for authentic action also means they have deep appreciation for people who admit their limitations honestly rather than making unrealistic commitments. They'd much rather hear someone say they can't help with something than have that person promise assistance and then disappear when it's needed. This honesty allows Aries to make informed decisions and adjust their expectations accordingly, which feels much more respectful than being led to believe in outcomes that were never genuinely possible. Over time, Aries people develop sophisticated filters for identifying authentic versus inauthentic communicators. They pay close attention to whether someone's past actions align with their current promises, whether their energy feels committed or just politely agreeable, and whether they ask realistic questions about what they're committing to. These assessment skills help them build relationships with people who share their values around integrity and follow-through, while avoiding the exhaustion that comes from repeatedly investing in people who don't mean what they say. Understanding these three foundational reasons reveals how Mars energy shapes every aspect of Aries communication and relationship preferences. Their demand for honesty, reverence for time, and insistence on authentic action aren't arbitrary personality quirks. They're expressions of deeper cosmic programming that prioritizes truth, efficiency, and genuine connection over social convenience and superficial pleasantness. The fourth reason, they're natural-born leaders who need clear information. Leadership isn't something Aries people consciously decide to pursue. It's something that happens naturally when their Mars energy encounters situations that require direction, decision-making, or problem-solving. But here's what most people don't understand about Aries leadership. It's completely dependent on having access to accurate, unfiltered information. When people feed them sugar-coated versions of reality, incomplete data, or politically correct interpretations that obscure important facts, they can't function in their natural leadership capacity. The Aries brain processes information like a high-performance computer analyzing battlefield conditions. They need to know who they can count on, what resources are actually available, what obstacles they're genuinely facing, and what the real timeline looks like for any project or goal. When someone gives them the sanitized version of a situation because they think it's what Aries wants to hear, or because they're trying to spare their feelings, it actually undermines their ability to make effective decisions. This creates a fascinating dynamic where Aries people often seem to prefer bad news delivered directly over good news that feels artificially inflated. They'd rather know that a project is behind schedule, that someone on their team is struggling, or that they're facing budget constraints than operate under illusions that will eventually collapse. The truth, however difficult, allows them to adjust their strategy and find solutions. Lies or half-truths force them to make decisions based on false premises, which inevitably leads to problems down the road. What makes this particularly challenging in modern social and professional environments is that many people have been conditioned to soften difficult information, to present problems in the most positive light possible, or to avoid sharing news that might upset someone. While these approaches might work with other personality types, they create serious complications when dealing with Aries individuals who need unvarnished reality to function effectively. The leadership burden for Aries extends beyond professional situations into their personal relationships and social circles. People naturally turn to them when crisis hits, when decisions need to be made quickly, or when someone needs to take charge of a chaotic situation. But if the people around them aren't providing honest assessments of what's really happening, Aries can't access their natural problem-solving abilities or provide the leadership that others are depending on. The fifth reason, they can smell fake people from miles away. The Aries detection system for inauthentic behavior operates on multiple levels simultaneously, creating what feels like supernatural ability to identify people who aren't being genuine. This isn't about paranoia or judgment. It's about energetic sensitivity that allows them to pick up on inconsistencies between what someone says, how they say it, what their body language communicates, and what their overall energy signature feels like. The fire element that governs Aries creates an immediate, intuitive response to authenticity that bypasses logical analysis entirely. When they meet someone who's being genuine, they feel energized and drawn to continue the interaction. When they encounter someone who's performing a version of themselves rather than showing up authentically, they experience anything from mild discomfort to outright revulsion, depending on the degree of artificiality involved. This detection ability becomes particularly acute when someone is trying to manipulate Aries for personal gain. Whether it's someone attempting to use flattery to get something they want, someone pretending to share values they don't actually hold, or someone manufacturing false emergencies to gain attention or sympathy, Aries people usually see through these strategies within minutes of exposure. The challenge is that calling out fake behavior directly often makes Aries look like the aggressor in social situations. When they point out that someone's story doesn't add up, that someone's personality seems artificially constructed, or that someone's motivations appear dishonest, other people might interpret this as being overly suspicious or needlessly harsh. But from the Aries perspective, they're simply responding to energetic information that feels as obvious as someone wearing a sign that says they're lying. Over time, this creates a natural filtering system where authentic people gravitate toward Aries individuals and inauthentic people either avoid them entirely or reveal their true nature quickly and move on to easier targets. The result is that Aries people often end up surrounded by unusually honest, straightforward individuals who appreciate the lack of social games and emotional manipulation in their interactions. The detection superpower also explains why Aries people often have strong, immediate reactions to certain individuals, even when they can't articulate exactly what feels wrong about someone. Their intuitive fire energy is processing micro-expressions, tonal inconsistencies, energy patterns, and behavioral contradictions faster than their conscious mind can analyze, creating gut feelings that are remarkably accurate even when they seem to come from nowhere. The sixth reason, they respect courage, not cowardice. Courage in the Aries worldview manifests most clearly through direct, honest communication, even when that communication might create temporary discomfort or conflict. When someone beats around the bush, hints at what they really mean instead of saying it directly, or hides behind implications and suggestions rather than clear statements, Aries interprets this as fundamentally cowardly behavior that deserves neither respect nor accommodation. The Mars energy that rules Aries values bravery as the highest virtue, and they see verbal directness as one of the most accessible forms of everyday courage that everyone has the opportunity to practice. Telling someone exactly how you feel, asking directly for what you need, expressing disagreement clearly when you disagree, and stating your boundaries explicitly all represent acts of micro-courage that Aries people perform naturally and expect others to demonstrate as well. When someone chooses the indirect approach, speaking in coded language, dropping hints, or expecting others to read between the lines, Aries experiences this as watching someone choose the coward's path when the brave path was equally available. They lose respect not because the person has different communication preferences, but because they see this choice as revealing something fundamental about character and integrity. This perspective creates particular frustration in romantic relationships, workplace dynamics, and family situations where people often resort to passive-aggressive communication, emotional manipulation, or silent treatment instead of addressing issues directly. Aries people find these approaches not just ineffective, but actually offensive because they represent the opposite of everything Aries values about human interaction. The courage versus cowardice framework also explains why Aries people respond so positively to individuals who are willing to disagree with them directly, challenge their ideas openly, or express unpopular opinions honestly. Even when someone is criticizing them or disagreeing with their perspective, if that person has the courage to do so directly and honestly, Aries feels respect and appreciation for their bravery. Conversely, people who agree with everything Aries says, who never express their own opinions, or who seem to change their stated beliefs based on who they're talking to, trigger immediate distrust and disrespect. Aries understands that real relationships require some degree of disagreement and conflict, and they view people who avoid all confrontation as either dishonest about their real thoughts or lacking the backbone necessary for genuine connection. The respect for courage extends beyond verbal communication into all areas of life. Aries people admire individuals who take calculated risks, who stand up for their principles even when it's socially costly, who admit their mistakes openly, and who face difficulties head-on rather than avoiding or denying them. These demonstrations of courage create the foundation for lasting respect and trust in Aries relationships. Understanding this courage-based value system helps explain why Aries people often seem to prefer difficult, challenging relationships over easy, conflict-free ones. They'd rather engage with someone who pushes back, asks hard questions, and forces them to defend their ideas than spend time with people who simply validate everything they say and do without offering any real substance or growth opportunity. The seventh reason, their impatience is actually a superpower. What most people label as Aries, impatience is actually an advanced form of social and intellectual efficiency that allows them to cut through layers of unnecessary complexity to reach the core of any issue. While others spend considerable time and energy navigating social protocols, managing delicate feelings, and working around sensitive topics, Aries has developed the ability to identify the essential elements of any situation and address them directly. This efficiency superpower manifests in countless ways throughout daily interactions. When someone starts telling a long, winding story with multiple tangents and irrelevant details, Aries automatically filters the information to extract the main point and the action items that need addressing. When a group gets bogged down in endless debate about minor details, Aries can usually identify the 2 or 3 core decisions that need to be made and propose concrete next steps. The time-saving aspect of this ability becomes particularly valuable in crisis situations where quick thinking and decisive action can make the difference between success and failure. While others might spend precious minutes trying to process all available information or worrying about hurt feelings, Aries cuts straight to the heart of the problem and begins implementing solutions immediately. However, this superpower creates significant social challenges because most people interpret Aries' efficiency as rudeness or insensitivity. When Aries interrupts a rambling explanation to ask for the bottom line, when they skip small talk to address the real reason for a meeting, or when they propose immediate solutions, instead of spending time discussing how everyone feels about the problem, other people often feel rushed or dismissed. The frustration for Aries comes from knowing that their approach could resolve most issues in a fraction of the time that others typically spend on elaborate discussions, emotional processing, and consensus building. They can see the solution clearly, they understand what needs to happen next, and they're ready to take action. But they're often forced to participate in extended conversations that feel completely unnecessary from their perspective. This efficiency also extends to their ability to detect when conversations are going in circles or when people are avoiding the real issues. Aries people have an internal alarm system that goes off when discussions become repetitive, when people start rehashing the same points without adding new information, or when obvious solutions are being ignored in favor of continued analysis. The superpower aspect becomes even more apparent when you observe how much Aries people accomplish compared to individuals who get stuck in endless planning phases overthinking cycles, or social navigation complexities. Their willingness to cut through nonsense and take immediate action allows them to complete projects, resolve conflicts, and achieve goals at a pace that often seems impossible to other personality types. The eighth reason: they're wired to solve problems, not create drama. The Aries brain operates like a sophisticated problem-solving machine that's constantly scanning for issues that need resolution, inefficiencies that can be improved, and obstacles that can be overcome. This mental programming makes them naturally allergic to artificial drama, manufactured conflicts, and situations where people seem to be creating problems for the sake of having something to complain about. When someone brings Aries a genuine problem that needs solving, they light up with energy and enthusiasm. Their Mars-ruled nature thrives on challenges that require action, creativity, and determination. Whether it's a technical issue, a relationship conflict, a financial challenge, or a logistical nightmare, Aries people feel energized by the opportunity to analyze the situation and develop effective solutions. The frustration arises when they encounter people who seem more interested in discussing their problems than solving them, who create elaborate explanations for why solutions won't work, or who appear to enjoy the attention and sympathy that comes from being perpetually overwhelmed by difficulties. Aries people quickly lose patience with individuals who seem to be emotionally invested in remaining stuck rather than moving forward. This problem-solving orientation also makes them sensitive to situations where people are creating unnecessary complexity around simple issues. When someone turns a straightforward decision into an elaborate emotional journey, when they manufacture crisis around routine situations, or when they seem to be deliberately misunderstanding clear communication, Aries experiences this as watching someone choose chaos over clarity. The drama detection system becomes particularly acute in workplace environments where some individuals seem to thrive on crisis, where simple projects become elaborate political negotiations, or where people spend more time talking about work than actually doing it. Aries people often find themselves baffled by colleagues who seem to prefer complicated, stressful approaches over straightforward, efficient solutions. Their natural problem-solving ability also makes them valuable team members and friends, but only when they're working with people who genuinely want to resolve issues rather than endlessly discussing them. They have the capacity to see solutions that others miss, to cut through emotional confusion to identify practical next steps, and to maintain focus on outcomes rather than getting lost in process discussions. The challenge for Aries is learning to distinguish between people who are temporarily overwhelmed and need support versus people who have made drama and crisis a lifestyle choice. They want to help everyone they care about, but they've learned that some individuals aren't actually looking for solutions. They're looking for audiences for their ongoing performance of struggle and chaos. The ninth reason: they value loyalty over politeness. The Aries definition of loyalty centers around truth-telling, genuine support, and consistent reliability rather than surface-level agreeableness or socially appropriate behavior. They understand that real friendship and authentic relationships require the courage to have difficult conversations, to challenge each other when necessary, and to prioritize long-term well-being over short-term comfort. When someone tells Aries what they think they want to hear, instead of sharing their honest perspective, Aries interprets this as a form of betrayal that's actually worse than open disagreement or criticism. They'd much rather have someone tell them that their new relationship seems unhealthy, that their business idea has obvious flaws, or that their behavior in a particular situation was problematic, than have that person smile and nod while privately harboring concerns or criticisms. This preference for honest feedback over polite validation stems from their understanding that genuine care requires willingness to risk temporary discomfort for the sake of someone's genuine welfare. When people care more about maintaining pleasant interactions than about helping their friends make good decisions or avoid potential problems, Aries sees this as selfish behavior disguised as kindness. The loyalty over politeness principle also explains why Aries people often have smaller social circles but deeper, more meaningful relationships. They're willing to invest significant time and energy in people who demonstrate the courage to be honest with them, who show up consistently during difficult times, and who prioritize the relationship itself over social expectations or public perception. Conversely, they quickly lose interest in relationships where people seem more concerned with appearing nice than with being genuinely helpful, where conversations stay safely superficial to avoid any risk of conflict, or where people agree with everything they say without offering their own perspectives or insights. The challenge this creates in social situations is that many people have been conditioned to believe that kindness means avoiding difficult conversations, that friendship requires constant positivity, and that loyalty means supporting whatever someone wants to do, regardless of whether it's actually good for them. Aries people find these approaches frustrating because they represent missed opportunities for real connection and genuine mutual support. Their approach to loyalty also includes fierce protectiveness of people they care about, but this protection manifests through honest assessment rather than blind support. If someone they love is making destructive choices, dating someone who treats them poorly, or pursuing goals that seem unrealistic, Aries will speak up directly rather than watching silently and offering sympathy later when things go wrong. Understanding the Aries loyalty framework helps explain why they often seem closer to people who argue with them occasionally than to people who never disagree with anything they say. They interpret honest disagreement as evidence that someone cares enough to engage authentically, while constant agreement feels like evidence that someone either doesn't know them well enough to have opinions or lacks the courage to express their real thoughts. The loyalty over politeness value system also extends to how Aries people expect to be treated when they're going through difficult times. They want friends who will tell them hard truths, challenge their self-pity, and push them towards solutions, rather than people who will simply validate their feelings and enable extended wallowing in problems that could be addressed with decisive action. The 10th reason, their cardinal fire nature needs forward movement. The cardinal quality of Aries creates an internal combustion engine that requires constant forward momentum to function properly. Unlike fixed signs that find comfort in stability, or mutable signs that adapt easily to changing circumstances, Aries operates with an inherent drive to initiate, progress, and advance toward meaningful objectives. When conversations become circular, repetitive, or stagnant, it creates a form of energetic suffocation that goes against their fundamental cosmic programming. This need for forward movement manifests in their communication style as an almost physical discomfort when discussions seem to be covering the same ground repeatedly without reaching new insights or conclusions. While other people might find comfort in rehashing familiar topics or exploring problems from multiple angles without necessarily solving them, Aries experiences this as being trapped in psychological quicksand, where their natural energy has nowhere productive to go. The cardinal fire combination creates a unique relationship with time and progress that makes every interaction feel like it should contribute something valuable to their ongoing life journey. When someone forces them to participate in conversations that seem designed to kill time rather than accomplish something meaningful, they experience genuine frustration that others often misinterpret as arrogance or impatience. This forward momentum requirement also explains why Aries people often cut conversations short when they sense that all useful information has been exchanged and no new insights are likely to emerge. They're not being rude. They're responding to their internal guidance system that tells them when it's time to move from discussion to action, from analysis to implementation, or from problem identification to solution development. The challenge arises because many people use conversation as a form of social bonding that doesn't necessarily need to accomplish specific objectives. They might enjoy spending time discussing hypothetical scenarios, sharing emotional experiences, or simply connecting through the act of talking itself. While these purposes are completely valid, they create friction with Aries individuals who need to feel like their interactions are building towards something concrete. Cardinal fire energy also makes Aries particularly sensitive to people who seem to use conversation as a form of procrastination or avoidance. when someone talks endlessly about what they're going to do someday, discusses problems without any intention of addressing them, or uses elaborate explanations as substitutes for taking action, Aries feels like they're watching someone choose to remain stuck when forward movement is clearly possible. The need for progression extends beyond individual conversations into their approach to relationships, projects, and life goals. Aries people naturally expect that interactions, partnerships, and commitments should evolve and develop over time rather than remaining static or repetitive. When they encounter people or situations that seem designed to maintain the status quo indefinitely, they experience this as energetic imprisonment. The 11th reason, they're protecting their energy for real battles. Aries people possess an intuitive understanding that life presents genuine challenges that require their full attention, creativity, and fighting spirit to overcome successfully. This awareness creates a sophisticated energy management system that automatically filters out artificial conflicts, manufactured drama, and unnecessary complications so they can reserve their resources for situations that actually matter. The protective mechanism operates like a cosmic triage system that constantly evaluates whether various situations deserve their emotional investment. When someone tries to involve them in gossip, social politics, or elaborate interpersonal dramas that don't serve any constructive purpose, their internal alarm system recognizes these as energy drains that could compromise their ability to handle real problems when they arise. This energy conservation strategy becomes particularly important because Aries people naturally attract leadership responsibilities, crisis management situations, and opportunities that require significant personal investment. They've learned through experience that maintaining their energetic reserves allows them to respond effectively when friends need genuine support, when professional challenges require creative solutions, or when family situations demand decisive action. The frustration emerges when people seem determined to waste Aries energy on trivial matters, manufactured emergencies, or problems that could easily be resolved if someone would simply make a decision and take action. They find it particularly draining to deal with individuals who create crisis around routine situations, who turn simple disagreements into elaborate emotional productions, or who seem to enjoy conflict for its own sake rather than as a necessary step toward resolution. Their protective instincts also extend to recognizing when they're being manipulated into participating in someone else's drama addiction or attention-seeking behavior. Aries people can usually distinguish between genuine emergencies that require immediate attention and artificial crises that someone has manufactured to gain sympathy, avoid responsibility, or manipulate others into providing support they haven't actually earned. The energy protection system also explains why Aries people often seem to have clear boundaries around how much time and emotional investment they're willing to provide for various types of situations. They're not being selfish or uncaring. They're being strategic about ensuring they have adequate resources available for the people and causes that genuinely matter to them. This protective approach creates what might seem like contradictory behavior to outside observers. Aries people will go to extraordinary lengths to help someone they care about who's facing a real challenge, but they have zero tolerance for people who seem to create problems unnecessarily or who expect others to solve difficulties they could easily handle themselves. The 12th reason, they're actually the most honest sign themselves. The profound authenticity that characterizes Aries communication creates a baseline expectation that others will reciprocate with similar levels of honesty and directness. When you naturally speak from a place of genuine feeling, express your real opinions regardless of social convenience, and align your actions with your stated values, listening to people who operate differently becomes not just frustrating but actually painful. This authenticity isn't a conscious choice for most Aries people. It's simply how their Mars-ruled energy expresses itself through communication. They find it genuinely difficult to say things they don't mean, to pretend enthusiasm for ideas they don't support, or to maintain friendly facades with people they don't actually like. This automatic honesty creates a natural expectation that others will operate with similar transparency. The challenge arises because many people have learned to use communication strategically rather than authentically. saying what they think will produce desired outcomes rather than expressing their genuine thoughts and feelings. While this approach might be socially expedient in many situations, it creates an unbearable disconnect for Aries individuals who can usually sense the difference between authentic and strategic communication. When Aries people encounter individuals who seem to change their opinions based on their audience, who express different versions of the same story to different people, or who say whatever they think someone wants to hear, regardless of their actual beliefs, they experience this as a form of energetic pollution that makes genuine connection impossible. Their own honesty also means that Aries people often reveal more about themselves than others expect or appreciate. They'll share their real opinions about controversial topics, admit when they don't know something, acknowledge their mistakes openly, and express their feelings directly, even when those feelings might be socially inconvenient. This transparency can make other people uncomfortable, particularly those who prefer more guarded communication styles. The authenticity principle extends to their expectations about emotional expression as well. Aries people generally say what they mean and mean what they say, which makes them particularly sensitive to passive-aggressive communication, emotional manipulation, and indirect expressions of anger or disappointment. They'd much rather have someone tell them directly that they're upset than try to decode hints, implications, or silent treatment. Understanding the depth of Aries' authenticity helps explain why they often seem to prefer relationships with people who might be considered difficult or challenging by others. They're drawn to individuals who express their real personalities, who aren't afraid to disagree or create conflict when necessary, and who demonstrate the courage to be themselves regardless of social expectations. This 12th reason ties together all the previous insights about why Aries people have such intense reactions to nonsense, dishonesty, and inauthentic communication. Their entire approach to life is built around the principle that genuine connection requires genuine expression, that real relationships demand real honesty, and that meaningful progress becomes impossible when people aren't willing to acknowledge reality as it actually exists rather than as they wish it would be. Understanding these 12 profound reasons why Aries people reject nonsense completely transforms how we view one of the Zodiac's most dynamic and misunderstood signs. What many people mistake for impatience, rudeness, or aggression is actually a sophisticated cosmic operating system designed to protect authenticity, maximize efficiency, and build genuine connections in a world that often rewards superficiality over substance. The Mars energy that governs Aries creates individuals who serve as living lie detectors, cutting through social performances and manufactured drama to identify what's real and what matters. Their demand for honesty isn't about being difficult. It's about maintaining energetic integrity in every interaction. When they refuse to participate in circular conversations or tolerate empty promises, they're protecting something precious that benefits everyone around them. Their relationship with time as a sacred resource teaches us all something valuable about respecting the finite nature of human existence. While others might view their efficiency as coldness, Aries people understand that every moment spent on meaningless interactions is a moment stolen from genuine progress, authentic connection, or meaningful achievement. Their impatience is actually a superpower that helps them accomplish more in a day than most people manage in a week. The leadership qualities that emerge naturally from Aries personalities depend entirely on access to clear, unfiltered information. When people try to spare their feelings or soften difficult truths, they're actually undermining the very abilities that make Aries individuals so valuable during crisis situations. Their need for directness isn't about ego, it's about effectiveness. Perhaps most importantly, the Aries approach to loyalty reveals a deeper understanding of what genuine relationships require. Their preference for honest disagreement over polite agreement shows us that real care sometimes demands the courage to have difficult conversations. They value people who will challenge them, support them through truth-telling, and prioritize long-term well-being over short-term comfort. The energy protection mechanisms that Aries people develop aren't about being selfish or uncaring. They're about ensuring that their considerable resources remain available for situations and people that genuinely matter. Their ability to distinguish between real emergencies and manufactured drama serves everyone around them by preventing the kind of energy depletion that makes effective help impossible when it's actually needed. Most remarkably, the authenticity that defines Aries communication creates a standard that elevates every interaction they participate in. Their inability to be fake or manipulative forces everyone around them to either rise to a higher level of honesty or reveal their true nature quickly. This cosmic truth-telling function serves the entire community by creating spaces where genuine connection becomes possible. If you're an Aries who's been criticized for being too direct, too impatient, or too demanding, recognize that these qualities are actually gifts that the world desperately needs. Your refusal to participate in social games and emotional manipulation creates opportunities for authentic relationships that many people have never experienced. Don't apologize for valuing substance over style or truth over politeness. If you have Aries people in your life, now you understand why they communicate the way they do. Their directness is an invitation to deeper connection. Their honesty is a form of respect, and their efficiency is a way of honoring the precious time you share together. Make sure to subscribe to Secret of the Zodiac for more deep explorations into the cosmic psychology that drives each zodiac sign. Hit that notification bell so you never miss our daily content that reveals the hidden truths about astrological personalities. Browse through our other videos to discover insights about your own sign or learn more about the people in your life. But here's what I really want from you right now. The comment section is where the real magic happens in our cosmic community. Tell me your story. Are you an Aries who finally feels understood after watching this video? Share which of these 12 reasons hit closest to home for you. Do you have Aries friends, family members, or romantic partners whose behavior makes so much more sense now? Describe a specific situation where you witnessed these Aries traits in action. If you're not an Aries but you recognize these patterns in yourself, let me know which aspects of the Aries approach to communication appeal to you most. Have you ever wished you could be more direct like an Aries? Have you struggled with fake people or time wasters the way Aries individuals do naturally? Give this video a like if it changed your perspective on Aries personalities or helped you understand someone important in your life. Your engagement helps us reach more people who need to hear these cosmic truths. And if you've gotten real value from our content, please consider supporting our work through the Super Thanks feature. Creating daily astrological content requires significant research, writing, and production time. Your financial support helps us cover the costs of maintaining this channel and allows us to continue bringing you in-depth explorations of zodiacal psychology every single day. Even small contributions make a huge difference in helping us sustain this work and reach more people with these transformative insights about astrological wisdom. Your support through Super Thanks directly enables us to keep producing the detailed, authentic content that sets Secret of the Zodiac apart from surface-level astrology. We're building something special here, a community where cosmic truth meets practical insight, and your contribution helps ensure we can continue this important work for years to come.